Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video it's going to be something a little different than usual. It's going to be a package opening, the Battle Arena decks back from 2016 I believe, featuring Keldeo EX and Rayquaza EX, which is a little interesting as both of these cards were initially printed back in 2012, Keldeo from Boundaries Crossed and Rayquaza from Dragons Exalted, but they waited 4 years to put them into decks. And here we see the deck list for both of them printed on the back. I'm not going to go into them in detail right now because actually we're going to be taking a look at them once we open them up. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Nice little piece of history. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, starting off with some cool coins, Rayquaza and Blastoise. Damage counters. Some tips on how to use both decks. Put that aside. Code card. The rule book. And the actual decks. Here we go. This is what we're here for. Okay, so let's take a look at the Rayquaza deck first. Okay, this one's also pretty sealed up. Let's tear into it. Starting off with some Holo Energy card. That's pretty cool. It is a Fire and Lightning deck, as Rayquaza, as a Dragon-type Pokemon, needs Fire and Lightning energies to attack. So there we go. There's our second Rayquaza of the deck. Some more basic energy cards. And now let's get into the trainers. We got Versus Seeker, a really good trainer in this format. Some Ultra Balls. Supporter to draw. Switching cards. Skyla, Skyarrow Bridge to give your Pokemon free retreat cost if it's a basic Pokemon. Some more draw supporters. Professor's Letter, really good for searching any energy cards that you might be needing. Sycamore to draw cards. Professor Birch to draw cards. Fan Club to search out your basics out of the deck. Just some more general support type stuff. Oh, Float Stones, those are really good. Another free retreat cost support item. Battle Compressor to discard any cards you don't need from the deck, or some lightning energy to recycle with. The Electric, it's going to be the main energy accelerator of the deck with Dynamotor. Get back discarded lightning energies onto your benched Pokemon. Raichu is a really good attacker in this format too with its Circle Circuit attack. Load up your bench with as many Pokemon as you can and hit for up to 100 damage for only 2 colorless. Zekrom, another good backup attacker. It's a really strong basic Pokemon, 130 HP. A couple of different Zapdos. This Victini is pretty good too. It can only attack if you have a full bench, but hits for 100 damage for only 2 energy, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that's a really quick look at the Rayquaza deck. Let's put that aside for right now. And now over to the Keldeo deck. This one's going to be a mono water type. Okay, so let's tear into this one next. Okay, starting off once again with some Holo Water energies. There's our second Keldeo of the deck. So it's going to be the main attacker. Use Secret Sword, 50 damage plus 20 more for every water energy. So if you give it 3 energy to start the attack, it's going to be hitting for 110 right off the bat. The trainer and supporter line is pretty similar to the Rayquaza deck. Versus Seeker, some Ultra Balls. Teammates is a little different. Can be used if your Pokemon was KO'd on the previous turn. Search your deck for any 2 cards, add them to your hand. Really strong comeback supporter. Superior energy retrieval to get back your discarded water energies. Rough Seas as the stadium for this deck. Heal 30 damage from your water Pokemon every turn. Rare Candy to evolve into Blastoise. We're going to see it in a little bit. Some more similar cards as Rayquaza. Fisherman, another way to get back discarded water energies to power up your Pokemon. Dive Ball to search out water Pokemon. And here we go. There's the next Pokemon coming in. Articuno's actually pretty good. You can use its, what's that called? Ancient Trait, Delta Plus. If it takes a KO against anything, you take an extra prize. So, good against weaker Pokemon with its Tri-Edge attack. Lapras, use Call for Family to load up your bench. Good for the early game. Octillery, a really good draw Pokemon with Abyssal Hand. Draw until you have 5 cards in hand. Some Milotic. Here we go. Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise is going to be the main energy accelerator of this deck. With Deluge, attach as many water energy from your hand to your Pokemon as possible, or as you want, rather. And with the rare candy, you can evolve straight into Blastoise in as little as 2 turns, so pretty good. And with the Archie, you can skip the evolutions altogether. You can, what's it called, burn your hand away down to 1 card. And if you have Blastoise in the discard pile, just use Archie to put Blastoise straight onto your bench to start using it. So it's a pretty good combo if you can pull it off with this deck. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be battling both of these decks together once I sleeve up these cards. So just give us a sec, get them sleeved up, and then we'll get into the battle. And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Keldeo side, we've got Remoraid as the active Pokemon, with the Squirtle on the bench. And on the Rayquaza side, we've got Victini as the active Pokemon. The Keldeo side is going first, playing Keldeo EX down to the bench, and then giving it a Water Energy, followed by the supporter Skyla, letting the player search their deck for any 1 trainer card to add to their hand, and the one chosen is going to be Professor Sycamore, to be used on the following turn. And that's going to be it. Now over to the Rayquaza side. Let's see what they can do for their first turn. Rayquaza EX comes down to the bench, followed by Ultra Ball. The player then discards the Lightning Energy and Lysander from their hand to search their deck for any 1 Pokemon. The one chosen is going to be a Tynamo coming down onto the bench. Tynamo is going to be the main energy accelerator of this deck once it evolves into Electric. And then the player activates Shauna as her supporter, shuffling away their hand to draw 5 new cards. The player is going to be hoping to draw into some more Pokemon or energy cards to use. Okay, let's see what they got. Okay, there we see another item card. This time it's going to be a Level Ball, searching their deck for another Pokemon, this time with 90 HP or fewer. And the one chosen is going to be Dedenne. It also comes down onto the bench, but do they have any energy cards to use? Yes, they do. There's Lightning Energy coming down to Dedenne, followed by Switch to get it into the active spot to attack. And there we go. Dedenne uses Entrainment to search the deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon to put onto the bench, and the ones chosen are going to be another Tynamo and a Pikachu. And now Rayquaza's got a full bench. Okay, now back over to the Keldeo side. A second Water Energy comes down to the benched Keldeo. He just needs 1 more to start attacking. And there's the Stadium card, Rough Seas, followed by Wartortle to evolve the bench Squirtle, and there's Professor Sycamore to discard the player's entire hand to draw 7 brand new cards. Let's see if they got any more Pokemon or item cards to use. And no, that was it. Back over to the Rayquaza side. Did they get any evolutions to use? Fire Energy comes down to Rayquaza. And there's the supporter, Bianca, and now the player can draw cards until they have 6 cards in hand. And yes, so we see the first evolution coming down, Raichu, to evolve the benched Pikachu. And that's going to be it. No attacks coming through this turn. Back over to the Keldeo side. Wartortle evolves into Blastoise. And Keldeo gets his 3rd energy, so now it can start taking KOs. Keldeo activates his ability, Rush In, to get into the active spot. And it will be able to take the KO against Dedenne with its Sacred Sword attack. But before it attacks, there's the supporter, Professor Birch's Observations, to shuffle away the player's hand. And then they can flip a coin. If they get heads, they can draw 7 cards. But if they get tails, they only draw 4. And it's heads! 7 new cards are drawn. Let's see what else they get. Okay, there's the cards being drawn. A second Keldeo EX comes down onto the bench, and now Blastoise activates its Pokebody. Sorry, its ability, not Pokebody. Deluge to accelerate a Water Energy onto the new Keldeo, followed by the item Dive Ball to search the deck for any water Pokemon to add to their hand, and the one chosen is going to be Octillery to evolve the bench Remoraid. And that's going to be the main draw engine of this deck. Another Pokemon comes down. It's going to be a Regice coming down onto the bench. And there's Octillery's ability, Abyssal Hand, and now the player can draw until they have 5 cards in hand. There's the attack, Sacred Sword, taking the first KO of the game. 5 prizes to 6. Over to the Rayquaza side now. Raichu comes up as a new active Pokemon. It does have a free retreat cost to act as a pivot. A Sky Arrow Bridge comes into play to replace the Rough Seas, and a Zekrom comes down to the bench. There's the Lightning Energy being attached to Rayquaza, so now it can attack with Dragon Burst. And the player then activates Professor Sycamore, discarding their hand to draw 7 new cards. Did they get any more evolutions? They need to evolve these Dynamo as quickly as possible. Okay, there's another Level Ball, so they can at least search out one of the electric from the deck. Yes, there it is. With its Dynamotor ability, they can attach lightning energies from the discard pile to any of their bench Pokemon. And there's the ability being activated. Rayquaza now gets a second lightning energy. Raichu's going to be retreating to promote Victini again. Okay, so the player's still not going to be attacking. Victini will be getting KO'd by Keldeo. Okay, another Rough Seas comes into play to replace the Sky Arrow Bridge. No other cards are played. There's the attack, Sacred Sword. Taking another KO. That's 2 prizes taken by Keldeo so far. Raichu comes back up into the active spot now. And now Pikachu comes down into the bench. There's another Ultra Ball, discarding 2 more cards from the hand to search for another Pokemon. So this might be the second Electric. Yes, it is. And now we've got 2 of them online. Okay, do we have any more cards to play? Okay, first both of the Dynamotors are activating, each one attaching a discarded Lightning Energy. One to Rayquaza and one to Zekrom. And now Rayquaza can take the one-hit KO against Keldeo. Okay, Raichu retreats to promote Rayquaza. And there's the attack, Dragon Burst, discarding 3 Lightning Energy, each one hitting for 60 damage for a total of 180 for an easy one-hit KO. And that is 2 prizes taken, so both sides are tied, 4 prizes remaining apiece. The second Keldeo comes up into the active spot now. And now the player benches an Articuno, followed by an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards from their hand to search their deck for any Pokemon. And the one chosen is going to be another Squirtle coming down. Do they have any Water Energy, though, to power up this Keldeo? Actually, yes they do. The Fisherman is activated, a really good supporter card in this deck, getting back up to 4 basic energy cards from the discard pile. And all 4 of them come down onto Keldeo. Its attack does 50 damage, plus 20 more for every Water Energy attached, with a total of 100 plus the initial 50. It's 150 damage. Keldeo just needs 1 more energy to take the KO. Oh, but they didn't draw it. It only hits for 150 damage. Rayquaza still has 20 HP remaining. Okay, back over to the Rayquaza side now. Let's see what they can do. Pikachu evolves into a second Raichu. And looks like the Keldeo player is just rearranging their Water Energy. Again, there's both the Dynamotors being activated. 2 Lightning Energy come down onto one of the Raichu. And a Fire Energy comes down to Rayquaza to pay the retreat cost. Okay, so Raichu will be able to hit for 100 damage. But first, there we see a Professor's Letter, searching their deck for up to 2 basic energy cards to add to their hand, and the ones chosen are going to be 1 Lightning and 1 Fire Energy. So just getting ready for the following turn for Rayquaza to take another KO. There's the attack, Circle Circuit, hitting for 100 damage. And even though Keldeo is a water Pokemon, it is not weak to lightning, it is weak to grass. Okay, over to the Keldeo side now. No cards are played, going straight for the attack to take the KO against Raichu. Now Keldeo has taken 3 prizes. The second Raichu comes into the active spot now. And there's another Rayquaza coming down onto the bench. The new Rayquaza gets a Fire Energy. And there's both of the Dynamotors getting back 2 Lightning Energies coming down onto the new Rayquaza. And now the player activates N as a supporter. Both players have to shuffle away their entire hands and draw 1 card for each of the remaining prizes. So Keldeo draws 3, while Rayquaza draws 4. It's a good way to disrupt the opponent, though admittedly it won't have much of an effect, as Octillery can just continue drawing cards. Okay, there's Rayquaza coming into the active spot. And there's the attack, Dragon Burst, hitting for 120 damage that time, more than enough to take the KO. And that is 2 more prizes taken by Rayquaza. It is finally in the lead. Squirtle comes up as a new active Pokemon now for the Keldeo side. And a Lapras comes down onto the bench. Blastoise activates Deluge, attaching a water energy onto Squirtle, possibly to pay the retreat cost later on. And there's Octillery to draw some more cards out of the deck. The player activates Versus Seeker, searches the discard pile for any supporter, and the one chosen is going to be Fisherman to be used once again to recycle another 4 water energies. And now they can be accelerated to any Pokemon on their side of the field. Okay, so Squirtle's going to be retreating to promote Regice now. It's probably going to be the best attacker in this scenario, as it does have the attack Resistance Blizzard. It hits for 70 damage, but more importantly, it cannot be hit by EX Pokemon on the following turn. So Rayquaza cannot take the KO against this Regice. Over to the Rayquaza side now. Rayquaza gets a Float Stone to get a free retreat cost, and there's both of the Dynamotors getting 2 lightning energy onto Zekrom now. Zekrom is not an EX Pokemon, so it can take the KO against Regice. Rayquaza is going to be retreating now. And yeah, Zekrom will be able to take the KO. Do have 2 pretty damaged Rayquaza though. They gotta be careful because it can be easily KO'd to take 2 prizes apiece for them. But there's the attack Bolt Strike, taking a 1-hit KO against Regice, and now Rayquaza is down to just 1 more prize to win the game. Blastoise comes up as a new active Pokemon, and it gets a Water Energy. It still needs 3 more to start attacking though with Hydro Pump. Does the player have it? Oh yeah, they do. They have Superior Energy Retrieval, discarding 2 cards from their hand to get back 4 Water Energy from the discard pile. They just keep recycling the same energy cards. And what's going on? They took back their energy. Okay, no, they were just fixing it. They attach all the water energy in play onto Blastoise, and there's Octillery's Abyssal Hand to draw some more cards out of the deck. And there's Lysander as their supporter to bring up one of the damaged Rayquaza to take the KO against it. So Keldeo might still have a chance to win this game. There's the Hydro Pump, taking the KO against Rayquaza to take 2 prizes, and now both sides are tied at 1 prize remaining apiece. Let's see what the Rayquaza side can do. Rayquaza does need 3 lightning energies to take the 1-hit KO against Blastoise, and we know they can get at least 2 with the Electric. Okay, there's Professor Sycamore to discard their entire hand to draw 7 cards. They just need to draw 1 lightning energy to win this game. Otherwise, Blastoise can take the KO against anything. Okay, there's both Electric activating Dynamotor. So it's 2 lightning energy on Rayquaza. Did they get the 3rd one? They just need 1 more in hand. He Raichu retreats to promote Rayquaza. Are they going to attach? Oh no, they didn't draw into it! They can only attack for 120 damage. So Blastoise will be able to close out this game with Hydro Pump. Yeah, that's the final draw of the game. But first, Blastoise gets 2 more water energies just to add insult to injury, and there's the attack Hydro Pump to take the final KO and the final prize. And there's the handshake! Keldeo EX is your winner! So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.